Good day. This is Cast Iron ASMR. Artist-creator Sam Keith has passed, and I thought I'd share the Maxx comics VHS tape and my personal The Maxx published artwork with you. Let's take a look. I was a big fan of The Maxx. I was there at the very beginning, at the dawn of the Image. This was the first Maxx comic. Not this one. Let's take a look what we got here. They came out with this darker Image comic. Had 3 stories. The other 2 are forgettable, but I remember the Maxx. Prominent on the cover. Look at that, there's a little dot there. That's some of my India ink. Must have been drawing. I remember that. So, there's the Maxx, Julie, showing her behind cleavage. And there's darker image number 1. And then the Maxx issue number 1. I was looking for my Maxx comics, and I actually found several Sam Keith comics that weren't the Maxx. Maybe I'll show them another day, because I just was passing through. But I have some where he does Wolverine and just one-shots. So the funny thing with the Maxx, his teeth always look different. I didn't care, but when you look at that from the front, it shouldn't look like that. But, have you ever seen Sam Keith stuff? Let's just take a look here. He was a big influence on my art. And the Maxx, I collected comic books as a teenager. This was the last title that I continued to buy, but then I stopped before it ended. Oh, he made really crazy layouts. And the layouts, these panels look so strange, but when they made the MTV The Maxx cartoon, they did a good job of adapting this comic, and suddenly the panels came to life. As a way of animating the story without really animating. It showed maybe the panel, and then the drawing would come into view. So the Maxx was a superhero who was homeless, and he was crazy half the time. Like, was he crazy? I don't know. Half the time he thought he was in the Australian outback at the dawn of time. And the other half of the time, he lived in a cardboard box in the alleys of New York City. So there's issue number 1. Here we have number 2. This is him as a hero in Australia. This jungle queen, Julie. I liked his signature. I even mimicked a little bit his signature between him and Todd McFarlane, some of my favorite artists of the day. The first and last letter were big, and then the inside letter covers were smaller. Here's a cool cover. The Maxx number 3. Number 4, we get to see his rear side. The Maxx bed crack. It was like he was always flipping people off, flipping them the bird. And he didn't take off his mask. He always was wearing this stinky suit. It's a nice cover. There's a good cover too. We got shark. All the bubbles. Bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. Oh, this time he's not the Maxx, it's just Maxx. Hey, does it change? I didn't know that. Issue 6, Maxx. Issue 7, I was pretty excited about this one. Maxx versus Pitt. Pitt was another Image new superhero. Kind of, Hulk ripoff. The artist and creator Dale. I can't remember his last name. We used to call him Cohen, but I don't think that's right. Kyon. I don't know. He was a Hulk artist. Sam Keith as well. He did one fill-in Hulk comic. I think I have that, actually. And I remember him talking about it and basically saying there was like one... Sorry. What was that? There was one good panel, maybe in the whole thing. The eyeball. And in this one they're small. Look, there's a bottle of whiteout, which strangely enough is blue out. And it spills to make Sam Keith's signature. So that's issue 7. Alright, now it's story time. Where's issue number 8? I took issue number 8 out to look. I was looking for... I was so excited. In the back of these comics, they had a letter column, but he would print like more letters than normal, I think to pad out the page count, because his art, while beautiful, it was, pin-up pages, and even at that, it wasn't a 24-page comic. Anyhow, so they had funny letters, and they would print drawings, sent in silly drawings. So I thought, oh, I'm going to do a drawing and send it in. And I made a drawing, I think, and I sent it in, and I put a letter, and it was of the Maxx brushing his teeth. So maybe something like that. And I thought that was kind of funny. So you got the Maxx here, and then he has this big fist, this little toothbrush. And then when I went to go send it, I'm writing with my ballpoint pen the address. And then at the last minute, I flipped over the envelope where you lick it. Right there, in like a small envelope, I did a little stick drawing of the Maxx, which I think I've seen something like that in a letter column, maybe. Or maybe that's what Sam Keith might have drawn in some So look what Sam Keith did. It's actually quite funny. So I did a little stick drawing, and then I had the stick drawing say, "Print this, Sam." And there it is, blown up. Print this, Sam. So like he would have cut out or just, photocopied and enlarged that little doodle. And when I went to the comic store, and maybe I had sent in the letter on issue 7, and I opened it up and I thought, oh, maybe he printed my letter in my drawing, even though it was like really soon, it was the next issue. And then I I was like, wait a second. I said, that's mine. My friends are there. They're like, oh, that's so cool. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that is so cool. But I thought, oh my goodness, like I drew a really nice, drawing that I spent a lot of time on, and this was just a few second doodle. But he printed that. So I drew another more detailed drawing and sent it in with a letter saying like, well, I'll show you. There's 8. Where are we here now? Issue 9. It wasn't issue 9. Look at this. Look at this one. Looks like he's been out in the sun too long. He's a baked lobster. So, then issue 10. Here it is. This is a well-read, well-traveled copy. Seen some stuff. This cover's a little bit water damaged. So then this one came. So I was looking. Oh my goodness. So I'm at the comic store. Let's go right to the back. Sometimes he would draw. It was kind of silly. He would draw the Maxx with pupils. So, there we go. I open it up and then I was looking and then, oh my goodness, here it is. Here's my letter. Dear Sam, my drawing was printed in Maxx number 8. However, this ridiculous doodle is not the extent of my artistic ability. In fact, it's rather embarrassing. Well, it wasn't that embarrassing, but I was trying to. I would sincerely appreciate it if you would print this updated version to restore my credibility as a decent artist. Thank you very much for your time. Now it says, look here, in the Maxx track summer. And look, there it is. So I redrew it, saying, print this. And it's the Maxx in black and white. That was really big. It was a big drawing. And I shrunk it down. Back then I had to go to like a photocopy place to do that. You didn't have scanners back in those days. It's kind of a silhouette here. So I thought that was cool. And it's an alright drawing, I guess. How old would I have been? I was a teenager. An older teenager. So, yeah. That was really cool of Sam to do. If, in fact, oh, it's his comic. So that was issue 10. Here we have number 11. long after. I don't know when this comic ended. Hey kid, what the bleep are you looking at? Yeah. But then they came out with, oh, this is a good cover. With, oh, now he's the Maxx again. It's not just Maxx. So, yeah, look at that cover. That's pretty cool. Oh, look, there's a lava lamp. Yeah, he's on a bunch of garbage. Like a landfill. Yeah, they made the cartoon. It's 14. Guess who's back? 15. And 16. 16 here. This was the last comic book that I'm pretty sure that would be maybe the last comic book I bought as a teenage comic book collector. And then that ended it. Look at that one. It's got some creases. There was like a horse Maxx. And I don't know how long the series went on, but look, I got number 29. I must have got this, like, I don't know when I got that. Like, way later. The series probably ended. Did he turn into a horse Maxx? I don't know. So those were my Maxx comics. But I do have one other thing I can show you. So when the Maxx cartoon came out, I heard about it. Used to be on, well, in Canada it was on Much Music, not MTV, at midnight. And that was, there were 15 minutes. And the other show, so a half-hour show, and there'd be Maxx, and then there'd be this, the head, with this alien in some guy's head, which wasn't as good. But I worked until midnight. So I'd rush home. I didn't work very far from my place. And I'd come home to watch the Maxx. And this would have been years after the comics. I wasn't buying comics. And I liked it. And then I think it got canceled. And then I got this VHS tape. I was like, oh, and then I finally got to watch it all. You know, roommates or whatever would be like, oh, you ever heard of this? Maxx? That's a great thing. And then one of my roommates watched it. And later, maybe I was going to watch it again. I pulled it out. And we were just sitting around. I was like, oh, can you tell, like, the sticker is a little bumpy. I thought, oh, what happened to this? And then my roommate said, oh, I got to come clean. I was watching your Maxx video, and then the VHS ate it up, was eating it up. He says, but then I stopped it, and I took it out, and then I took the cassette apart, and I put it into another cassette, and then I took the sticker off and put it on. I was like, holy cow. Like, you know, thank you. And you didn't have to go through all that trouble. He's like, oh, I know you really like that. And then I said, oh man, like, it's okay. You didn't have to. And he said, oh man, and he goes, I even put it into a copy of his Slapshot VHS cassette. I thought, oh man, you really shouldn't have done that. Oh, there's some more too. So that was the last. That ended my comic collecting hobby. But then way later, I started collecting comic books again for some time. And look what I got. I couldn't believe that Maxx was back. And he's hanging out with the Batman. Look at Sam Keith drawing the Batman. That's great. It had been so long. So I got number 1, and I came out. And I can't remember. I know it looks really, it's crazy. Crazy awesome. Let's take a look. It's just like some thick paper. Like, how cool is that? It's like, wow. Oh, they're in the outback. I should read this. Like, it looks like it's out of a Mad magazine. Sam Keith's art kind of, what was that guy? Basil, maybe. Was that the guy? Basil Wolverton? For some reason, kind of reminds me of him. He used to draw, like, grotesque thing. Oh, this is, I remember reading this. And it's the first time you got to see a little bit under his mask. So, he's got a chin. It's confirmed. Oh. So, this is kind of cool. And weird. There we got all the variant covers. Look at that guy. One comic and it's like 20 covers. But what happened, here's, like, it was a mini-series. So there's 1. Number 2. Now, I don't know about you. 3. There's Julie. But when you're, like, at a comic shop or a place where you buy your comics, there's the pull list or the subscription or whatever you call it. How often has this happened to you? Because it's different places. So I got issue 1, 2, 3, and then 5. And sometimes, especially with, like, maybe miniseries, and especially with, like, the Sam Keith miniseries, where, like, you know, it's great, but you could read one of these comics in probably like 60 seconds. Maybe not 60 seconds, but less than 5 minutes. Look, each page is totally awesome and one panel. This is actually really, really cool. I should look for number 4. It's so cool. Yeah, I used to think that Sam Keith is the coolest. It's pretty cool. Rock and roll, baby. So, yeah. Well, thanks for looking at these Maxx comics. Good night.